Hey to everyone out there watching, it's JT from Keystone Crew Outdoors. Welcome back to the show. I hope. My picks for Santee were not great. I'll be the first to admit that, so I hope that you picked the right guys of my picks that I threw out there. But my guys were not great. Hopefully you guys did better than I did. We'll get into that in a minute though. Here's a quick look at the Keystone Crew leaderboards for Rapala Bassmaster Fantasy Fishing. And here's a look at the Keystone Crew leaderboard for Mercury Bassmaster Drain the Lake Challenge. I dropped out of the top 10, so that means one of you guys moved into the top 10, so congrats! Those of you who like and subscribe to the channel, thank you for your continued support. I really appreciate it. I started making these picks 2 seasons ago, kind of to prove a point to one of my friends who said, that I'd never go through with it, but I'm glad I did. I really enjoy making the picks for you guys, researching these guys, and watching the events, especially on Saturday and Sunday mornings. Stay tuned to the channel. I hopefully have some videos in the works for the coming months of actual outdoor things. Who knew? Keystone Crew Outdoors, actually doing stuff outdoors. I have some ideas up here, but I'm not sure how the execution's going to go. Time's always a factor with me, between work and different things like that. So time's usually the enemy, and that's why I haven't really posted any of our outdoor stuff, but I'm looking forward to hopefully getting into it and posting some good videos for you guys. As always, if you haven't signed up for fantasy fishing yet, you can sign up at bassmasterfantasy.com. After signing up, search the Groups tab for Keystone Crew. We're up to 35 members in Rapala Bassmaster Fantasy Fishing, and only 32 members in Mercury Bassmaster Drain the Lake Challenge. I don't know, maybe some of our players aren't playing both games. It's kind of weird that there's 35 in the one and only 32 in the other. Here's a quick recap of how things fared from the last event at Santee Cooper. If you had a perfect lineup, it would have looked like this, from buckets A through E. Drew Cook finished 3rd, Luke Palmer finished 1st, Matt Robertson finished 10th, Hank Cherry finished 13th, and Paul Mueller finished 6th. Here's a rundown of my gut picks. They were terrible. Scott Martin was my highest with a 30th place finish. So I hope you guys didn't pick with my gut, because my first thought were these are the guys, and they were not the guys. Here's how the research picks fared out. They weren't great, but we did get 2 in the top 10 with Steve Kennedy and Brandon Palnick. Patrick Walters hurt. It's never good when your bucket A angler finishes in 75th place. Winning weight was 96 pounds, 14 ounces. I said 93.6, so we were in the ballpark, but a little light there. Here's how the power rankings and our Drain the Lake finished. We did have some top 10s in the power rankings, so hopefully you picked them from the options that I threw out at you. It was a tough tournament for me to pick, and I think a lot of people were in the same boat. I only dropped from like 82% down to 74%, which isn't terrible considering how bad my gut picks were. Now on to Lay Lake in Shelby County, Alabama from May 11th through the 14th, 2023. Located 35 miles south of Birmingham, Lay Lake is a reservoir that covers 12,000 acres and has a shoreline of about 289 miles. Lay Lake has hosted the Bassmaster Classic 4 times: 1996, 2002, 2007, and 2010. Lay Lake is kind of the wild card of this year's trail. There haven't been any recent bass tour level events on Lay Lake near the month of May. Largemouth and spotted bass might be migrating, and if there's a shad spawn early mornings, might give the anglers their best opportunity to cash in. Not a whole lot of info out there in terms of history, though. All I've got is, the videos I've been watching and stuff like that saying that it's going to be probably tough. But all right, let's get on with it. The reason you're all watching, here's the picks for Lay Lake. First, my gut picks. You know, these are the guys that I pick when the buckets are released and, you know, without any research. In bucket A, I'm going with Mike Iaconelli with 2.6% owned. Bucket B, Chris Johnston with 6% owned. Bucket C, Jason Christie with 15.4% owned. Bucket D, Chris Zaldain with 12% owned. And Bucket E, Caleb Sumrall with 1.7% owned. And here's my actual research-based picks. Once again, I power rank these picks based on the Bass pundits and different videos that I might watch or articles that I might read. And here it goes for Bucket A. I have David Gaston, 4.5% owned. Scott Canterbury, 19.9% owned. Greg Hackney, 4.4% owned. Kyle Welcher, 13.5% owned. And Mike Iaconelli with 2.6% owned. My pick, though, is Mike Iaconelli with that 2.6%. And the crew research pick is David Gaston with that 4.5% owned. In Bucket B, I have Brock Mosley with 7.7% owned. Brandon Palnick, 26.9% owned. Bill Lowen, 3.4%. Jay Shakurit with 4%. Matt Robertson with 15.9%. My gut pick, though, was Chris Johnston. And the crew's research pick is Brock Mosley at that 7.7%. Bucket C, Jason Christie, 15.4%, followed by Justin Hamner, 6.9%, Gerald Swindle, 33.4%, Brandon Lester, 11.2%, and Hank Cherry at 1.2%. My pick and the research pick are the same this week. I'm going with Jason Christie here on both of those. Bucket D, I'm going with my number one ranked angler there is Josh Stracner with 9%, followed by Wes Logan at 29.6%, John Cruz, 3.7%, Caleb Koopfall with 5.7%, and Bradley Hallman at 1.1%. My pick, though, it was owned by 12%, and that's Chris Zaldain was my gut pick. And the crew's research pick is that Josh Stracner at 9%. Our final bucket, Bucket E, I have Will Davis Jr., and he pretty much everybody else does too. 47.3% owned there. Followed by Matt Herron with 9.2%. Brian New with 9.7%. Then I have Larry Nixon with 0.5%. And finally, Caleb Sumrall with that 1.7%. Now, I got to warn you on the Caleb Sumrall one. I'm kind of picking him because he's on express boats, and I really want an express boat. So I'm going with him. But I also think that he's going to have a pretty good tournament here. My pick, like I said, Caleb Sumrall with that 1.7%. And the crew's pick, along with most of the people playing, is Will Davis Jr. at 47.3%. Tie-breaking weight, I don't think it's going to be earth-shattering here, guys. I'm going with 66 pounds, 7 ounces. I don't think it's going to be a very large bag in this one. So, quick review here. My gut picks. I have Bucket A, I'm going with Ike. Bucket B, Chris Johnston. Bucket C, Jason Christie. Bucket D, Chris Zaldain. Bucket E, Caleb Sumrall. The research picks, the ones that you should go with. Bucket A, David Gaston. Bucket B, Brock Mosley. Bucket C, Jason Christie. Bucket D, Josh Stracner. And Bucket E, Will Davis Jr. On to Mercury Drain the Lake. Lastly, here's the Drain the Lake picks. It's elimination or survival style game where you can only use an angler once all season. Once you do, they're gone. You burn them for the season, so pick wisely. Should be getting a little bit easier, I think, because your pool should be, you know, halfway gone by now. But you might be kicking yourself because you used some angler earlier and they maybe burned you and you don't have them for an event that you really thought they could do well on in this one. We're going with Scott Canterbury, Clint Davis, Will Davis Jr., David Gaston, Justin Hamner, Wes Logan, and Keith Poche. I hate to even say that because I never know if he's fishing or not. So I've been kind of staying away from him. But if he is fishing, I think he's going to do great. And Josh Stracner. That'll wrap it up for Lay Lake. Good luck to everyone out there. And as always, I'll catch you next time.